arts are so important. They are what makes our society and our humanity the way it is.
Studying music or art is crucial to a young person's development.
I think it's probably a well understood fact, and I think it's also been studied, that art, music, and creative education enriches kids.
I think we have a lot to offer in terms of band for the students at West Essex. What we offer is we have band class that meets during the day. We have 2 different periods that meet. But what we have that goes above and beyond what a lot of the other schools do is we have lots of extracurricular activities that go along with the band. You can be in jazz band, you can be in marching band, we have an indoor percussion ensemble, we have a brass ensemble. We have chamber groups that meet. We have an honors program that kids go out and they try out for things like area band and region band and all-state. So we try to make sure that whatever a student's interested in, we can offer it to them.
Music and art are so strong, and it's so important that students take classes in the humanities, in the industrial arts, in the performing arts, in the fine arts, in the visual arts. And I think that West Essex does a really good job creating, obviously it's a requirement for graduation, so every student should have at least a year exposure to something in the arts, which is really, really important because it shapes you as a human being.
I think we offer a really great range of programs here. I work with a really talented, highly qualified staff that I'm so lucky to work with. They're some of the smartest people I know, the most creative people I've ever met, and I'm really fortunate to work here.
In terms of recognition for what the band gets, I think it's actually very good compared to a lot of the other schools in New Jersey. If you go on the website, there's always something going on with our music program. You'll see, a student made this group, or this group is performing. So I think in terms of school and community, we do a great job of showing, the great students that we have. It's interesting though, because I do talk to some of the students that are in the band to try to get a feel of what the other students in the school think about them. They always feel that they're a little underappreciated there. So if there's a way that we can get out there and get the other students to realize, just how great the stuff that we're doing in these music classrooms are, that's really where we'd love to really improve in that.
Marching band is definitely one of the most vigorous activities I've ever done, if not the most vigorous. We practice Monday and Wednesday for 3 hours in addition to earlier practices for your sections. And Friday nights we have practice and football games, and Saturday as well as Sunday we usually have either a 4 or 8 hour practice or a day-long competition. I think no one really acknowledges that in addition to playing at football games, we also compete on our own. That's our main goal. That's where our hundreds and hundreds of hours of practice are focused upon. With repetition, we are constantly working with some water breaks, but we really have to keep at it in order to keep our show entertaining and crisp and precise.
Band is definitely a year-round activity. There's, of course, the concert band during the school, which lasts the whole entire school year. There's marching band during the fall and most of the summer, actually. And then there's indoor percussion, which is all of spring. There's the jazz band, which goes all year. There's just all these different bands, and we put in so many hours. And there are those students and some certain teachers that do appreciate us. They congratulate us when we do well.
Orchestra is a really big commitment for me, but it's been really rewarding. I've been doing it since I was in 3rd grade, and I just feel like all the artsy kids, like in band, orchestra, and choir, should be recognized for their hard work more.
A lot of sports are recognized for achieving high titles. No one really seems to know what exactly we do outside of the Friday night football games.
We put in so much work into this, and I feel like people only see us at football games, and even then, they're not even really listening.
In the art department, we have an art show every spring, and it's really not well advertised, and it should be better advertised. It's really a shame the kids work all year so hard, especially the kids in the upper levels that are trying to do this in college, and not a lot of kids get to see what they do, and not a lot of staff and the community gets to see what we do down here all year. You know, it's not well advertised and therefore not well attended, and it's a real shame.
As far as recognition goes and appreciation, I think that we're coming up on getting more recognition. Obviously it's not even at all. There are definitely some areas of the arts that get much more recognition than others, but that's only because at this point they're just much more visible on campus.
Music and art is really what makes humans human. I doubt that there's anybody in this world that hasn't seen a movie, that hasn't gone to a concert, that doesn't listen to music on some basis. And when you ask somebody, you know, what's something about you? What's the first thing that people ask? Oh, well, what kind of music are you into? Well, without music, guess what? We don't have that question to ask. It's what makes humans human. So it's imperative that, you know, every single student gets some type of music or art education in this society. And unfortunately, it's one of those areas that is getting cut and cut and cut and cut. It's the first thing to go.
The fact that schools cut these programs is just so devastating to me as an artist. All of the famous things that we study, like if you go back in history, we're looking at photographs, we're looking at artwork, we're looking at statues, and these are the things that civilizations have left behind that we use to understand how they lived. And what are we going to leave behind if we're not teaching our children these things anymore? You know, the future generations, if they lose their art, if they lose their music, if they lose their literature, if they lose these basic human components that become the record of our time, what are they going to have left?
I always remember a quotation by Winston Churchill during the Second World War when somebody wanted to remove funding from arts education in schools to fund the war effort, and Winston Churchill replied, "Then what are we fighting for?"
Being visually educated goes so far outside these classroom doors. I can't think of almost anything that doesn't have some type of design in it. You know, the cover of your textbook, the clothes you're wearing, who designed that? That all starts in a high school art class, you know, like ours.